Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to build your Shopify store from absolute scratch, and this tutorial is completely beginner friendly, so you don't need any prior Shopify experience to follow along. I will actually guide you step by step on how to build your Shopify store, so buckle up because this video is quite a long one with about 40 to 50 minutes of content. Right, so that being said, let's actually jump inside my computer and get this tutorial going. So first things first, you have to get your free trial so you have enough time to set up your store and start your business without even having to pay anything. Now you can find the link which will grant you a 14 days free trial and potentially some really big discounts in the description of this video down below. It's actually going to be the first thing you're going to see in the description, so it's kind of hard to miss it. So let's grab the link from the description of this video, which will take you here on Shopify where you can register your store and get your free trial. And there you go. Like I just said previously, Shopify might give quite heavy discounts to some of you that will use my link. Here they offer 97% off for the first 3 months, so you'll pay like $1 per month, plus you'll also get a 2 weeks free trial as well, which is kind of insane if you think about it, and I'm really glad I can provide this to you guys. Alright, now what you see might be a bit different or not, but if it is, it's because they are updating their design quite often, but don't worry because the functionality remains the same, which means that the steps you see in this video are still going to work anyway, so just follow along and don't worry about any small design changes you might see. Okay, so the first thing we have to do to create our store is to add an email address here in this box. I do recommend using a different email address than your personal one, and if you don't want to buy a business email address right from the start, that's okay. You can create a Gmail address with the store name and maybe just add info or official at the end. And you can also use it for customer service until you get more sales and you will be able to afford the business one. Now another thing that I want to mention here is that the email address you're going to use here is going to appear in the privacy policy, return policy, and pretty much every policy when you generate them, and it will also be the address where you will receive the emails from the contact us form. So I think it's a good idea to at least create a separated Gmail address like I just said, because customers will actually start sending emails to this address when you start selling. You can still change it later on, but I think it's less hassle to just do it right now. Now the store is going to be named Timepieces World, so give me a second to type the address. And now, as you can see, I did what I just told you. I created a Gmail address with the store name and I put official at the end. Now let's wait a couple of seconds for our store to be created. And now they ask us some questions, and this is even more unimportant, but they just want to keep the track of who's doing what. So for the sake of this video, I will assume that most of you are beginners, so let's pick I'm not selling products yet. Do you want to sell products through dropshipping? Yes. What's your current revenue? If you're a beginner, just put 0. If not, just put your revenue if you want. Again, this is really not important. You can actually press skip if you want, so don't sweat about it. Now this final step is a bit more important than the previous ones, so you'd want to fill this up with your details, but you can still change this anytime you want later on. Okay, so I will pause this for a quick second to fill this up. Now this is your dashboard, so first things first, I like to select a plan in order to disable the password. That helps me a lot when I'm building the store because I can see it as a customer, I have a clear vision, and I just find it easier to modify things and just build a better store overall. Now in order to do that, you'll have to add your credit card, but the good part is that you will not be charged until the 14 days free trial ends, which is awesome and gives you nothing to worry about. Now to do that, we click select a plan. If you're just starting out, I recommend you choosing the first one, which is just 24 quid per month, which is about $29, and you get pretty much everything you need. Plus you can always upgrade to a better plan if you need to, so let's pick the basic one. Now here we have some pretty decent savings options, and if you're serious about it, I think the 2 years one is pretty good, but if you're just starting out, don't worry about it, just pick the last option, which is monthly. Alright, now I will pause the video again for a second to fill this up. Now in order to actually disable the password, we have to go to online store, then preferences, and then just scroll down until you find password protection, which is right here, and then you simply have to uncheck this box, then press save, and now we are good to go. Alright, now our website is officially live, so the next step in building our store is to actually go ahead and choose a theme. And to do that, we go here on the left side menu on online store. Now at this moment the default theme on the store is down, which is not that bad, but I think Brooklyn is much better for our store. So to actually choose Brooklyn, we scroll down and usually you could find it in the explore free themes, and it might still be there, but for me it isn't, and chances are that you are going to see the same thing as me, which are only the newer themes, because Brooklyn is actually an OG theme. So in order to get it, let's go to visit theme store, click on the search bar and just type Brooklyn. Now let's click on it. Also, if you have multiple results, just click on the one named Brooklyn, which should be the first one anyway. Now it will take you on this page, and all we have to do now is to just click on try theme, which will add the theme on the store. Right, now it will take a second to load up and actually upload the theme, but once the new theme has been added, we can click on Actions, then click on Publish, again Publish, and now we can see that instead of Down, our current theme is Brooklyn. So at this point we have everything ready and we can start customizing our store, but before that let's take care of our settings first. So in order to do that, let's click on the settings, which is right here on the left side menu, and the settings page will open. Now here on the basic info you can change the name of the store if you want, or just edit it, maybe adding a space between if that's what you like. Now below we have the address which will appear on your customer's bill, so you want to make sure that this is correct. Now mine is going to be blurred because I don't actually want to make this public on the course, but what I'm saying is that your customers will actually see this address on the bill, so you should make sure that this is correct. Then we also have the contact information, and now the first email address is the address where Shopify will send you emails to, and the second one is the one that customers will see if you email them, and even the order confirmation which Shopify will send automatically will be sent from this address. So you really want to make sure that this one is at least a custom email address for the store, if not a business one. And last is to select the currency you want to sell in, because after you make your first sale you won't be able to change it unless you contact the Shopify support, which is not always a pleasure if I have to be honest. So if you want to sell in multiple countries like US, Canada, Australia, you can just put it as US dollars and you should be fine. Usually people leave the currency as US dollars and then maybe use an app to convert it to the customer's currency. So unless you plan to sell to just one country, I can't recommend you to leave it as US dollars. Mine is British pounds at the moment, but for the sake of this video I will just change it to US dollars. Alright, we covered the store details, now let's move on to checkout. So what I like to do here is to leave customer accounts disabled, as you can see, because I think that if you don't have a big brand where you run a lot of promotions and stuff like that, the account will only distract the customer and delay the sale. Now the next thing is customer contact method, and I believe that the best one is that they check out using email for many reasons. One of them is actually email marketing, where we send discounts and upcoming products, but don't worry about it for now because we will actually cover this later on in this course. Now for how customers can choose to get shipping updates, I think it's best to leave them both checked. Next we have customer information, and for the full name I always check the second box, which require first and last name, mostly because AliExpress asks for that when you place the order. Company name, you can include it as optional if you want, but it's not really necessary since we are not targeting businesses. Second address line, I leave it as optional. Shipping address, phone number, I put it as required. Again, AliExpress have it as required, but you can put yours there because they might pass it to the logistics, so I just think it's best to have it. Tipping, you can check it if you want so that customers will have the options to leave you a tip. Maybe you want to donate something to charity, I don't know. I don't really mess with it, but you can try it if you want. Next we have order processing. I suggest unchecking the auto completion because sometimes it can go wrong and the customer can get annoyed and you might even lose the sale, so don't worth the risk. After an order has been paid, we leave it as it is because we don't want Shopify to automatically fulfill the order. We want to do it after we actually send the package. Now for the rest we just leave them as they are, and let's move on to policies. Now what's great about Shopify is that they already offer a template for every policy that you are required to put on your store. So to that we can simply click on create from template and voila, they will basically create a refund policy, in this case for your store, with your email and so on. However, this is just a template, so you should read it through and add some things that are missing or remove some that maybe don't apply for your business. We can do the same thing with the rest, but please keep in mind that this is not legal advice whatsoever. These are just templates. So read them through and adapt them to your business if need be. Then at the end we have the shipping policy, which you'll have to add it yourself because it's quite specific to your Shopify store. Now one thing you can do here is to offer free shipping for all orders above $50. It's not mandatory, but it might attract more customers. So we can say like all orders of $50 or more qualify for free delivery. Or you can offer free shipping to all orders anyway. That again might attract more customers. Now a very important thing is to mention the handling time and the delivery time. This is actually the most important thing that you should add in this policy. So just don't forget about that. Now that we finish with these, let's add them to our footer menu and even create the rest of the pages that we're going to need for our main menu. So in order to do that, let's go back to our dashboard, then we go to online store, and then let's go to navigation. Now we're going to click on footer menu. Here you can delete the search bar because you don't really need it in the footer. And now we just want to add our policies right here in the footer menu. Maybe if you are a complete beginner, you don't really understand why we are doing this right now, but it will all make sense in a few minutes when we're going to build and customize our actual store, because we're gonna display this on it. So let's click on add menu item and then on the link. Now we simply go to policies and we are going to add all the policies we just created. So privacy policy is first. Let's click add, and now I'm just going to add them all really quick to not waste your time. Now that we have all the policies added, we can click save, and next let's create the rest of the pages that we're going to need. So to do that, we go to pages, which is right above navigation, and now let's create a new page by clicking add page, and this page is going to be named about us. You can even call this our story or just about, but I prefer to put it as about us. Now this is quite an important page. I don't want to say it's mandatory, but I believe that in 2022 and beyond, every store should have at least a small about us page. So if you're just starting out, you don't need to do anything crazy. So now with that in mind, I will just give you a brief outline of what your about us page should include. So first things first, you need to introduce your brand. So one thing you can do is to say a little bit about maybe your aim or your goal. Some stores might even refer to it as their mission. So I don't know, let's say you have a store that offers back pain relief products. So you can say like our key goal or our mission is to help relieve your back pain, and maybe you can say how, assuming you have the product that helps them to do that. I know this is very raw, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Now you can mention that you and the people working at this brand share the same passion as your visitors. Like for example, you have a fishing store, you can say about how much do you love fishing and maybe how much you wanted to turn it into a business. And in the end, you can say that the customer satisfaction is your store #1 priority, and I always like to conclude with a signature like this: we look forward to serving you, Timepieces World Team. Alright, moving forward, we have the contact us page, and as you can see, we already have a contact page right here, so let's just edit this one. Now you have to make sure that here at the theme template box it says contact. Some themes might name the template as contact us, so in general just pick the one that says contact or contact us or whatever, something with contact. So here is fine, the page is already set as contact, so what I like to write in this page is just the following sentence, which is: please shoot us an email if you require the assistance of one of our cheerfully helpful professionals. Beside this sentence, there is also going to be a form that you can't see here, but it's going to be on the website where customers can put their details and their questions, so personally I feel there's no need for anything else. Now the last page we want to create is called FAQs, which stands for frequently asked questions. So for this page you can just say this on top in bold. And then just follow with the question along with the answer like this. So question 1, the answer, question 2, and the answer, question 3, and again the answer. So now these are actually going to be real questions, but I just wanted to show you how you should put it on the page. And as far as what questions you should put in, just keep track of the most common questions that you receive on the customer support email, and the ones that are keep repeating, just add them here along with the answer. Now there are already some basic questions that you can add right now in this page, like when will my items be shipped? You know what, actually let me go ahead and write this instead of first question. So yeah, you can also do when I will receive my items, and so on. I will actually write this as well, just to be something instead of question 1 and question 2. And yeah, I'm sure you've got the point. These are pretty much the default questions that any customer will ask. So this is a way of doing it, and I think it's a very good way if you are a beginner and you don't want to spend money on apps to do this. Alright, now that we finished the pages, the next thing is to add them into our navigation. So we go to navigation again. You already know how to do that by now, I hope, but if not, the navigation is right under the pages. And we already added the policies in the footer menu, and that's pretty much all I usually add into the footer. So let's add the pages for main menu. And to do that, we click on main menu and we're gonna add the about us page. So to do that, click on add menu item, then click on the link, then we choose pages, and from here we select about us. Next, we're gonna add the contact us page. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. Now I'm gonna add the refund policy here as well. And finally, the last one is going to be frequently asked questions. Now, in order to import products from AliExpress to our store, let's go ahead and install one of the most important apps for dropshipping, which in the past used to be Oberlo, but Oberlo has been recently shut down. So instead, we're going to use the eCommerce. And to do that, we go to apps, and it's actually the first one right here. So let's click on it. Now, this will take us to the App Store, and here let's click on Add App, and now I'm just going to install it. Alright, now we are inside the eCommerce, and you will actually have to either let the eCommerce create an account for you with your Shopify store email, which is actually less hassle, and they will just use your store email to create an account for you. Or you will be able to create one yourself, but I think the first option is much easier. Alright, now we can actually import products in two different ways. And the first one is to simply go here at the import list inside the eCommerce, and in this box you can simply paste the URL of the AliExpress product you want to import. So let's open a new tab and go to aliexpress.com. And here I'm gonna search for men watch. Now, the first thing that I like doing is to sort them by orders. This way we can see the most reliable products, because more orders means a higher chance to deal with a good supplier. You don't want to dropship a product that has 0 orders, and I don't recommend doing that. So yeah, usually sorting it by orders, it's a good idea. Now let's go ahead and add this one to our store using the first method, which is actually to copy the link of the product. So to do that, let's open the product in a new tab. And we copy the link like this, then we go to the eCommerce and paste the link in this box and hit OK. Alright, now this is our product imported right here. We can edit it, push it to our store, delete it, add tags, and a lot of stuff, which we will actually look into in a second. But before that, I actually want to import more products and to show you the second method to do that, which is a bit easier in my opinion. So for the second method, we have to actually install the DSS Chrome extension. So I'm gonna open a new tab and say DSS Chrome extension and click on the first one right here. Now to install it, all you have to do is to click on Add to Chrome, and then add extension. And now just give me a second to actually pin this. And one last thing we have to do before we can actually import products is to log in into our DSS account, and we can do that by simply clicking on the extension, which is actually saying the same thing. So to log in, we can click on DSS right here and then log in. Now this will happen automatically if you're already logged in your Shopify store. It will take a second, but everything will be automatically. So now everything is ready, and we can actually go ahead and import more products using this extension. So let's actually go back on AliExpress, and I will refresh the page just to be sure the app is working properly. And now let's find more products to import, and look, this one is actually for women, even if we search for men, but I'm actually going to import this one because we kind of need something for the woman collection as well. And to do that, we simply have to click on the US right here. And boom, the product has been imported successfully. So like I said, using the Chrome extension, it's actually much easier. Now let's find 1 or 2 more products. And look, this one is quite okay too, so I'm just gonna add it to our store. Now the way to go here is to either focus on a very good product and add a few extras to hopefully make some upsells, or if you want to make a real niche watches store, which is like the direction we're kind of heading to, you'd want to add at least 40 or 50 products, like 20 for men and 20 for women, if you want to have both collections. Now I'm not going to do that since it will take hours to find them and come up with titles and descriptions for them. So I'm actually going to stick with these 3 products I already added, and I'll show you the import process and everything, so you can go ahead and hopefully do that with any number of products you want. Besides, this is just a demonstration store. I'm not actually going to try to sell anything on it, and repeating the same process with 50 products, I think it will be a waste of time for both me and you guys. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and actually push to our store the products we just found. And to do that, we head back to our DSS app, and we can find the products in our import list. If they are not there, just refresh the page. So let me do that right now, and they will appear. And I actually like to edit the products inside the eCommerce before pushing them to the store, and to do that we can simply click right here where it says edit product, and the first thing we actually need to change is the title, because this is way too long and unprofessional. So for this one I will say something like military dual display watch. And to come up with this, as you probably noticed, I actually took what I consider to be the most important keywords from the big messy title and I mixed them together. So as you can see, it's quite easy to come up with a decent title for a product, but one thing here that I want to mention is that sometimes they can add random words into the long title that are not 100% related to the product, or the product might not really have those features. So I recommend to always check with the description to see what's actually in there and what's not. So in conclusion, with the title, I really think that it's a great idea to keep it simple, but at the same time informative enough. Now as for the variants, we have to decide what colors do we want to include and what types, because sometimes they have different types of models for the same product, and for some products we even have to decide from which country we want to ship from, like this one. Now before we decide that, I think it's a good idea to have a look at images right here, because this product has a lot of variants and I just want to see how qualitative the images are for each color and type. So let's click on images, and apparently a lot of these images have the supplier logo on them, which kind of makes them look unprofessional, and to be honest, I don't recommend using photos with the supplier logo or unnecessary text on them. And what I'm gonna do is to actually deselect the ones that have the supplier logo at the top and choose only the clean ones that don't have the supplier logo or any unnecessary text on them, like the first one right here. So to deselect the one we don't want, all we have to do is to click on it like this, and as you can see, now the image is removed. So I'll just do that for all of them real quick. Now this one with the function description, it's kind of ugly, I'm not gonna lie, but it might be useful, so I'm just gonna keep it for now, and later on, if I don't like how it looks, I will just delete it. Also, a very important thing to know here is that the product is not in our store yet, it's in the DSers import list, and if you keep something that you don't like, it's not biggie, you can delete it later on from the product page. So if you're not sure if you want to keep something or not, you can leave it for now and take it out later from the product page if you want to. But if you delete it or deselect it from here like I'm doing, you won't be able to do that, which means that it's gone. So with that in mind, I'll keep this one for now, and let's keep deselect the ones we don't want. Okay, so I'll just keep these ones. So now going back to variants, I think we should only pick the gold one, since this is the only one we have good quality pictures for. So to do that, I'll deselect all of them by ticking actions right here, and I'll only deselect the one I actually want to keep, which is the gold one with the box from China. I also see that customers can also have a choice to buy the watch without the box, but I think it's really unprofessional to even offer the choice of purchasing a watch that comes in a bag or something. So I will not mention anything about the box, and I will just add a variant with the box and say gold right here. And to actually delete the rest, just click on action and then on remove SKU. Good, now moving forward, we have the pricing, and the cool thing here is that if you have multiple variants like we had, you can actually set the price for all of them in bulk by using action. And beside this, another really cool feature is that we can add compared price in bulk as well. So let's actually set the pricing in the compared pricing right now. So I'll set the price for the watch at $39.95, and for the compared price we'll say $59.95. And what compared price actually is, it's actually going to show on the product page that the product usually costs $59.95, but now it's $39.95 for a limited time, of course. Now we don't have any variants because we just removed them, but this comes in handy when we actually have like 10 variants or something like that. Also, another thing here that worth mentioning is that it's way easier to edit in bulk from here than from Shopify. And by easier, I mean that for the compared price at least, you'll have to edit it manually one by one if you do it from Shopify, which is not pleasant if you have more variants. So if you want to add the compared price, it's best to add it from here. Right, so the last thing we haven't touched yet is the description. So let's go ahead and fix that as well. Okay, so this is the description from AliExpress. Now, some of these things might be quite useful to know, but for the sake of this video, I will delete them all and I will just give you a list of what I think is best to include in your description. So first things first, say a bit about the product, what it is, what it does. You can also mention the benefits of using the product, why someone should buy it. Also, if applies, you can offer use instructions. In this situation, we can offer some watch instructions if there's any. We can also mention the size, the diameter, and stuff like that. By the way, give me a second so I can make the text a bit larger so you guys can actually see it. Alright, now it's also a good idea to mention the materials. I think you should always be upfront about it, and you can actually find those in the AliExpress description, which is why you should not delete it before you finish up your product description. I know I said to delete it, my bad, so if you did, don't worry, import the product again into your DSers import list and you can copy it from there. Now, if you do dropshipping, which I guess you do, might be a good idea to mention the shipping times, because it might take a while before the customer will actually receive the order, so having that in the description might avoid confusion and angry customers. Now, once we finish finish everything here, we can click the push to Shopify button right here to import the product to our store. And here we can choose on which stores we want to import the product, which is a really cool feature if you have multiple stores. Now I will check the also publish to online store box and then just click push to Shopify. Alright, so now we can find it in our store in products. So let's go back to our dashboard and click products right here, and here's our product. You can also edit the product if you want by just clicking on it like this. So in here you can edit the description, the title, even the pricing and the variants, the inventory. You can also add or remove images if you want. So you can easily adjust or change pretty much everything about your product from here. I also want to mention that we will take care of the shipping rates, payment providers, and apps, free apps, paid apps in the next lessons. And in this one, we will mainly focus on products, collections, and the customization of our store. Okay, so now I'm going to import the rest of our products by myself really quick, and then I'll get back to you in a second. Okay guys, I'm back. So now let's go ahead and create some collections where we can add our products to. And to do that, we click on collections, which is right here in the products block. Now to create a collection, we have to click on create collection, and in here we can give it a name. I will say men's because this will be the men's collection. We can also add a description, but this is not really mandatory. But if you have something cool to say about it, you can give it a try. Now for the collection type, I will select manual, and we also want to add an image for this collection, and I have one already prepared in my computer, so I'm going to click on add image right here. And here we go, this is the one. Alright, now we have the image and everything else looks great, so I'm going to press save right here at the top. Now the next thing we want to do is to add some of our products to this collection. So to do that, we first select the sorting from here to be manually, and now let's click on browse. So we don't have many products, but if you have, you can also use this search bar right here to easily find the ones you want to add. Now let's just add the ones we have, and let's click add for both. We don't have to save anything because it saves automatically, by the way. So now let's go back to collections, and as you can see, we just created the men's collection. So let's do the same for women. Again, we click create collection, I'll name it women's. We choose manual, and we add the image like we just did. And boom, we click save. Now again, to add the products, I like to sort it manually, and I click browse, and now we add the products we have. I only have one, but you'll probably have more. Awesome, now we have both collections ready, and another thing that we can do is to transform this homepage collection into a new arrivals one, where we can add new products that we launch on our store. So to do that, it's going to be pretty much the same process, so I'm just going to do that by myself really quick. Alright guys, now we have all the collections ready, and what I want to do now is to start customizing our actual store. So to do that, we go to online store, and here as you can see we have our Brooklyn theme that we just installed in the previous lesson. So let's click on customize and have some fun. Okay, now we are in the actual editor, and this might seem a bit overwhelming at first, but it's actually really simple, so you have nothing to be scared about. Now before we jump ahead and give some life to the store, I want to give you a fast overview of how these things work, because I don't want you to feel absolutely overwhelmed later and have no idea what's going on. So first things first, from here you can change the view from mobile to desktop and even full screen. Now how your website looks on mobile is equally important as how it looks on desktop, or honestly these days I think it's even more important, because most of our traffic will actually come from mobile devices. So that being said, it's really important that your store is 100% mobile friendly. Now let's move it back to the desktop view, and another thing that I want to mention is that on the left side are actually the sections that creates the website in the same order. So basically this is the header, and next we have the slideshows and so on. Now the header and the footer, which is the last section right here, are not optional, which means that in Shopify you can't delete them from this editor, but you can customize them. Now as for the rest of the section, you can pretty much decide what you want to do with them. So you can delete a section if you want, and you can also add it back if you change your mind. So let's take the slideshow for example. We can remove it from here where it says remove section, and now it's gone. And to bring it back, the short way, if maybe we deleted it by mistake, will be to click on the undo button right here at the top. But if let's say we deleted it and now we change our mind, we can simply click on add section here on the bottom left, and here we can pick the section we want to add. So I'm gonna add back the slideshow. Now the section you add will always go at the bottom as the last one before the footer, but you can drag it where you want using the dots icon right here. So I'm gonna put it back where it was. Now, another feature that Shopify recently added is that you can actually select the section you want to edit by simply clicking on it here in the UI. So let's say I want to select the slideshow, and all I have to do is to click on it like this, and here on the left side menu we can actually edit the first slide. Now, this is similar to WordPress, and if you guys have experience with that, you will probably find this new feature quite helpful. Okay, so now let's actually start building our store. And the way I want to do this is by going from top to bottom, because this way I think it will be easier for you to follow along and actually understand what we're doing. So we're going to start with the header, and the first thing that we can do here is to add a logo. Now, I already have one prepared for this store, and I'm going to add it by clicking on select image right here, and then I click on upload. Then I'm going to choose the logo, which is right here in my computer. Select, and as you can see, our logo already appears on the homepage. Now, if you don't have a logo for your store, which is probably the case, two of the easiest and really inexpensive ways of getting a logo for your store are to either create it yourself using Canva or to buy it from Fiverr, which can go for as low as $5. So if you want to make the logo yourself, you can do that pretty simple without having crazy Photoshop skills, and the way you can do it is by using Canva. Now, Canva has a free plan, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not that easy to make a professional good looking logo with just the free plan for quite a few reasons. One of them will be that you can't download the logo with a transparent background in the free version, so your logo will kind of have a white background like a box around it, which is extremely unprofessional. But don't worry, you can actually try the pro plan for about 30 days at no cost. They'll actually leave you a link for that in the description down below, so make sure you have a look and get your 30-day free trial if you want to use Canva. Now, the second method is to purchase a logo from Fiverr, and you can find the link in the description for that too. Now, like I said, with Fiverr you can actually really find and purchase a logo for exactly $5. Now, not all of them are $5, most of them are at least 10, but to save you from the hassle of finding them manually, I actually took the time to find only the ones that are exactly $5, and I will leave you the link for that in the description as well. So just make sure you check the description and choose the one you think fits you best. Alright, now moving on towards building our store, the next thing I want to do is to add a transparent version of this logo, which is actually a white one, and we need that because when we will add some images to the slides, the white version will look much better. So to do that, we go down to the transparent logo right here, I click on select image, and now I'm gonna upload it as I just did with the normal one. Now click select, and as you can see, the logo turned white, and that happened because it's on top of a slideshow. But if we go, let's say, to our product page, the logo will turn back to its colored version, which in this case looks much better on top of a white background. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. Now let's go back to our homepage and click header. And another thing we can do here is to change the announcement bar, which is this one right here at the top, and with this one we can actually offer discounts, or we can announce that we offer free shipping if we actually do, or we can actually say that we offer free shipping on all orders over $50. And if I remember correctly, that's what we said in our shipping policy too, so I'll just type that here real quick. So all orders of $50 or more qualify for free delivery. Now, a good idea here is to uncheck the homepage only, because leaving that checked will actually make the announcement bar to appear only on the homepage. So for example, if you go anywhere else on the website like the product page, this announcement bar will disappear. And in reality, most of your customers will probably not even see the homepage. They will mostly stay on the product page. So if you actually want your customers to see the offer you actually put in this announcement bar, I think it's a good idea to leave this unchecked. And if you don't want to display announcement bar at all, you can just uncheck the show announcement right here, and the announcement bar will be removed. Okay, so this is all we have to do in the header. So now let's move on to the slideshow, which is this part right here. And what we want to do here is to add some images to our slides and say something about our store. Now, of course, we want to add some images that are related to what we're selling and not something random like a horse, which has absolutely nothing to do with our store. So with that in mind, let's click on the slide. Then on select image, and we can actually find some really good ones in the free images right here. So I click that, and I'm going to search for watch. And as you can see, we have a lot of options, so let's have a look around. And like I said, here are a lot of really good quality images like this one, which looks absolutely amazing. This one as well. Now, I'm not going to pick this one because I want to see if we can actually find something even better. And boom, here we go, guys. I think we just found it. So I'm going to pick this one with the car, but you don't have to hurry. You can take the time and maybe try a few until you find the one that enhances your store the most. Now, in here, you can change the image position. the overlay. You can also change the text alignment, maybe to the left or the right, but I would actually choose the left for this one because I like it better. Now the next thing you should do here is to change the text for the heading and the subheading with yours. So for the subheading I will say timepieces world, and for the heading I'll say something like this. Now we also want to add a call to action button, and the label it's already there, but what we have to do for this button to actually appear on our website is to add a link. So let's click on this box where it says paste the link, and I'm going to send them to all products. Now the colors are not really matching the design I have in mind, so I will leave the label color as it is, and I will change the button color to this one. Good, now let's actually have a look at the slide, and when we try to do that, they take us to the slideshow block here on the left side menu, but that's fine because our slide is almost finished anyway. So yeah, I kinda like how it looks so far, but one last thing I wanna do before we move to the second slide is to change the text font, because I kinda don't like this one and I have one in mind that I think it will make our store look even better. So to do that, let's go to the theme settings, which is right here at the bottom. Now click on typography, then click on change, and now I'm just going to search for Titleum Web. Which is the first one right here. Now for the font size, I'm gonna select the last one, which is black, and click select. Now as for the next one, we're doing the same thing. Click on change, search for Titleum Web, and again font size black. Then we click select, and for the last one again click change, search for Titleum Web, and for the font size we're going to choose semi-bold this time. Alright, now click save and done. Now I think this looks absolutely beautiful compared with how it looked before. I hope you like it too, and another quick change that I want to make is to change the color for the announcement bar to black, because right now it's kind of a lighter black, so I think it will look much better as zero black. So to do that, I'm going back to the header, I scroll down to the bar color, and I will just drag the cursor down until it hits 0. Alright, now I think it looks much better, so let me hit save. Now let's go back to our slideshow and finish the last slide as well. And for this one, we're going to do pretty much the same thing as for the first one. So let's find an image from the free images. Again, we search for watch, and actually give me a second to find an image. And this is the one I want to go with. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to add a heading and a subheading for this one as well. So for the subheading, I'll say discover the most exquisite timepieces. And for the heading, I'll say something like for any occasion. Now let's add a button as well, and we're going to link it to collections this time. And for the label, I will say learn more. Now as for the color, I will make the label black and the button color white. Good, now let's just click save. Now we're kind of finished with the slideshow section, so we can move forward to the next one, which if we go back, we can see that is the rich text section right here. So in this section, you can pretty much talk a bit about your brand, maybe say something about your products or your brand's mission, but I personally don't use this one as much, so I will just remove it for the store. But if you want to include it, all you have to do is to give it a heading like our story or something like that, and add what you want to say in the text box right here. Now I will just go ahead and remove it by clicking remove section. Okay, so now the next section is the collection list, and the very first thing I want to do is to change this title into explore the collections in all caps. So let me do that. And now I'm just going to save. Awesome. So with the collections, you can actually categorize your products into different collections like we just did for men and women. And you can also have more collections like digital watches, small watches, and stuff like that. But for this store, I want to add only 2 collections, which are going to be the men's and women's that we created in the beginning. And we're actually going to use the new arrivals one in the feature collection right under. But now let's go ahead and delete some of these collection blocks until we remain with only the 2 ones that we need. Alright, now we can actually go ahead and add our collections. So let's click on the first one, and in here click on select collection, and we're going to pick the men collection for this one and click select, and that's it. Now we go back and click on the second collection, and for this one we're going to do the same but with the women's collection. And now I'm just going to press save. Now we pretty much finished with the collection list as well, so the next thing that we want to do is to assign our new arrivals collection to the feature collection right here. So to do that, let's click on the feature collection and I will name this new arrivals. And now let's select the new arrivals collection. Now you can also change the style from here, but I prefer the grid. And one thing that I want to mention here is that this collection looks good on the actual website with about 3 or 6 products in it, but no more than that, because this section will actually display all the products that we have in the collection you choose for it. So if let's say we have like 30 products in our new arrivals collection, they will actually display them all here, which will make our website look horrible. So I think it might be a good idea to have about 3 or 6 products in the actual collection we want to display on our website using this section. Alright, so now let's press save and move on to the next section. Now the next section is the feature product, where you can usually display the main product, which is basically the winning one that you plan to promote the most. I don't really have one for this store, but for the sake of this video I'm just going to pick this one. But the point is that you can put your winning product here, which is the one you do the marketing for and sell the most. Now if you don't have one, or you simply don't want this section on your website, you can simply click on remove section right here and the section will be gone. Now moving forward, the next and almost the last section is the newsletter. And in here, first of all, I like to make the heading uppercase, so let me do that. And now for the subheading, I will say something like this. Okay, now one last thing that I want to change before moving on to the footer is to go to the theme settings and change some of the colors to our main color, which is the greenish one. So we go to the theme settings, then to colors, and in here I will change the links and accents color to our color like this. And now I'll also change the cell tags color to red. Awesome, now let's go back to our sections and finish the last one, which is the footer. And our footer menu is already here because we actually created it in the previous lesson, but if for any reason yours is not already selected, all you have to do is to press the select menu button and choose the footer menu like this. Now another thing to do here is to add some social links like a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, maybe Pinterest as well. So if you don't have these, just create one of each for your store, which is very simple to do. Now I'm going to add a link to Google in here for the sake of this video, so you can see how it should look like. But this is just for example purposes and you should not do this. Instead, add the links to your store's actual social media accounts. Now one last thing I want to show you here in the footer is how to remove this Powered by Shopify link, which kind of makes your store look a bit unprofessional. Now we have to do this from the actual code. We can't do this from this editor. So to do that, click on the 3 dots icon right here and then we click on edit code. Now before we jump into it, I just want to say to be careful and just do what I'm doing, because if you mess with the code without knowing what you're doing, you can end up ruining your whole website. But there's no pressure, you can always press Command Z for any reason you touch something you should not. Now that being said, in here let's search for footer.liquid, which is right here under sections. Now open it. And in this chunk of code, we want to search for a thing called Powered by Link. So to do that, we hit Command F on Mac or Control F on Windows. And in this box, we type powered _by _link. Now we only want to delete this small piece of code right here. So I'm going to select only the break and the powered by link along with the curly brackets and now press delete. Cool. Now we can click save and go back to our editor, click refresh. And voila, the Powered by Shopify link is removed. Alright guys, so as you can see, our work here it's almost done, but we still have a few more things to take care of. So what we have to do now is to go to the theme settings, and the first thing I want to do is to add a favicon. And if you don't know what a favicon is, it's pretty much this thing right here, which at the moment it's an world icon, which is kind of the default. And on the other hand, as you can see, Shopify has this icon which is an S in a bag as their favicon. So to actually add our favicon to the store, we click on favicon right here, and now as before we click on select image, and now I will upload the favicon I have prepared for this store. Now, if we reload our website, we can actually see here the favicon we just added. So one way to make your favicon is by using Canva, and the simplest way to do it is to actually put your brand initials on a black background. Or you can just use your logo for now, but it might not look as good. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is to add our logo to the checkout page. So we go to checkout, and here where it says logo, we click select image, and I'm going to choose the logo from here because it's already uploaded. And now I click select and then save.
Now, since we are already here, let's also change the accent color to our main color. So to do that, we scroll down a bit to colors, and in here we just change the color. Cool, now these are pretty much the most important settings we have to take care of, but you can take some time to go through all of them and try different things if you want to. Now that our store is pretty much complete, let's see how it looks on mobile as well. So let me do that really quick. And yeah, it actually looks pretty good. The announcement bar is a bit too thick, so I might consider using fewer words in it, but beside that, I think our store looks really nice on mobile too. Alright, now I just remember that we have one last thing we need to do before finishing this lesson, and that is to add a meta title and a meta description to our store, which is actually what people will see if they find our store on a search engine like Google. So to do that, we go back to our dashboard, then let's click on preferences right here. And now for the title, I'm going to say Timepieces World official website. And for the meta description, I will just type this. So, do you love quality and affordable watches? If you do, discover our latest men and women timepiece collections today. I know it's probably not the best, but you got the point. Now, one thing about this is that it will show up on the search engine when people will search for a keyword that you have in this meta description. Now, this is not really an SEO ranking factor, but it might help getting more clicks. So when you make this, try to use some keywords that people interested in the products you sell might search for. Alright, now I'm just gonna click save.
And that's it, guys. This is pretty much what I had in mind for this video. Now again, you can try even more variations when it comes to designing and improving your store, but in my opinion, these are pretty much the essentials you should take care of when building your Shopify store. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel for even more videos and free tutorials like this one. And also don't forget to let me know what you think of this tutorial, since I'm quite new here and I'm constantly trying to improve my content.